The Spiderwick Chronicles. First one in a series of 5 books. And look, they're all nice and small. Fantastic when you're wanting to have a quick, exciting read, or perhaps for children who are reluctant to try a bigger book. Very, very good stories, well written. They've actually all been made into a film as well, and I think a series is coming out of them, so children can enjoy reading the books and then see how the screen version matches up. This is the first one in the series. It's called The Field Guide, and the whole series was written by Holly Black and Tony DiTerlizzi. And I was reading that because Tony DiTerlizzi provides the illustrations, that it's quite collaborative. So they write and create and draw together and share their work as it sort of goes along, rather than Holly Black writing the entire book and then Tony illustrating it. It's a very collaborative process. Anyway, so this first book introduces what is to come. So at the beginning, there are 2 letters before the story even begins. So let's read these 2 letters. The first one is from Holly Black to you, the reader. Dear reader, over the years that Tony and I have been friends, we've shared the same childhood fascination with fairies. We did not realize the importance of that bond, or how it might be tested. One day, Tony and I, along with several other authors, were doing a signing at a large bookstore. A signing, if you've never been, is where an author who has a new book that's come out will go visit bookshops, and you can come along, buy a copy, and they'll put your name and they'll sign the inside of the front cover, and it's something special to keep. When the signing was over, we lingered, helping to stack books and chatting, until a clerk approached us. A clerk is another name for someone who works in the shop. He said that there had been a letter left for us. When I inquired which one of us, we were surprised by his answer. Both of you, he said. The letter was exactly as reproduced on the following page. Tony spent a long time just staring at the photocopy that came with it. Then, in a hushed voice, he wondered aloud about the remainder of the manuscript. A manuscript is the form of a book before it's been published. So the handwritten or the first typed version, or even the final typed version, but before it's actually made into a bound book. We hurriedly wrote a note, tucked it into the envelope, and asked the clerk to deliver it to the Grace children. Not long after, a package arrived on my doorstep, bound in red ribbon. A few days after that, 3 children rang the bell and told me this story. What has happened since is hard to describe. Tony and I have been plunged into a world we never quite believed in. We now see that fairies are far more than childhood stories. There is an invisible world around us, and we hope that you, dear reader, will open your eyes to it. Holly Black. So now I'm going to read you the letter that Holly Black and Tony DiTerlizzi had received. Dear Mrs. Black and Mr. DiTerlizzi, I know that a lot of people don't believe in fairies, but I do, and I think that you do too. After I read your books, I told my brothers about you, and we decided to write. We know about real fairies. In fact, we know a lot about them. The page attached to this one is a photocopy from an old book we found in our attic. It isn't a great copy because we had some trouble with the copier. The book tells people how to identify fairies and how to protect themselves. Can you please give this book to your publisher? If you can, please put a letter in this envelope and give it back to the store. We will find a way to send the book. The normal mail is too dangerous. We just want people to know about this. The stuff that has happened to us could happen to anyone. Sincerely, Mallory, Jared, and Simon Grace. And this is what they enclosed with their letter. As you can see, we have a map, a mysterious map, detailing the Spiderwick estate and a few other things in the area. So we reach chapter 1, in which the Grace children get acquainted with their new home. If someone had asked Jared Grace what jobs his brother and sister would have when they grew up, he would have had no trouble replying. He would have said that his brother Simon would either be a veterinarian or a lion tamer. He would have said that his sister Mallory would either be an Olympic fencer or in jail for stabbing someone with a sword. But he couldn't say what job he would grow up to have. Not that anyone asked him. Not that anyone asked his opinion on anything at all. The new house, for instance. Jared Grace looked up at it and squinted. Maybe it would look better blurry. It's a shack, Mallory said, getting out of the station wagon. It wasn't really, though. It was more like a dozen shacks had been piled on top of one another. There were several chimneys, and the whole thing was topped off by a strip of iron fence sitting on the roof like a particularly garish hat. I wonder if what you're imagining in your mind looks anything like the illustration. It's not so bad, their mother said with a smile that looked only slightly forced. It's Victorian. Simon, Jared's identical twin, didn't look upset. He was probably thinking of all the animals he could have now. Actually, considering what he'd packed into their tiny bedroom in New York, Jared figured it would take a lot of rabbits and hedgehogs and whatever else was out there to satisfy Simon. Come on, Jared, Simon called. Jared realized that they had all crossed to the front steps, and he was alone on the lawn, staring at the house. I'm going to stop there, but I would love you to carry on reading. To give you a snapshot, the children discover that there are unexpected inhabitants of the house, which, as you might guess, might have something to do with the fairy world. And all sorts of things happen and need to be dealt with. And I won't say any more, but enjoy reading it. Again, I have put 3 questions that you could now talk about in the comments below. And there is your book, The Spiderwick Chronicles. Enjoy.